You touched on this weekend's assignment earlier on, the Baltimore Ravens. This is you and Joe Davis's first look at Baltimore this season facing the LA Rams. Curious as a guy who played, and I think the Ravens are particularly interesting, not just because of their, the change to the offensive scheme and what they're doing over there, but also just a tenacious defense this season. When you turn on the Ravens, what is your biggest impression? Either side of the ball, doesn't matter.
Defensively, the speed. A lot of people are calling it positionless defense, right? You've got, defensive lineman dropping back in his own blitz scheme. You've got Kyle Hamilton coming off the edge. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen are amazing inside. You get everybody walked up into that front, and it can be anybody that's coming on the pressure. They may be only sending four. It might not even be a blitz. It looks like a blitz, but which four are coming as the other seven drop into coverage? So there's tremendous athleticism, tremendous speed, and a scheme that makes you really think. And I think the most nerve-wracking thing playing this defense for me would be in that first series to have a free runner hit our quarterback, because they've gotten something off of the film breakdown. They know how to overload your dual read. They know how to go away from the scat. They're going to know some way to break down your protections. And that's, that was Jim Johnson back in the day with the Philadelphia Eagles, was phenomenal. And we always used to talk where, hey, let's not worry about what they've done in the past. He's going to have something new for us. So let's not burden ourselves with learning the blitzes that Jim Johnson has created against other teams. Let's get into the game with a fundamental protection scheme. And then when we get an idea of what he's doing, let's start to expand what we do. But there's nothing scarier than Jim Johnson and one of the Philadelphia defenders hitting Troy Aikman in those first couple of series as a free runner, because now that they've kind of figured out what your protection scheme is. So if I'm playing against Baltimore and that happens, if Matthew Stafford gets hit clean, you're talking about an offense that hasn't given up a sack in 2 weeks. And they've played Cleveland, so it's not like they haven't played somebody. Right. So they held Cleveland sackless last week. If they get a free runner to Matthew Stafford early in the game, I think that's one of those things where you got to pull everything back, figure out what happened on that one, make sure you keep Matthew healthy as you move forward. But the one thing that really jumped out to me is just that speed and that athleticism in a complex scheme that they make look very, very easy to run.
That's where I was going to go. And you guys have seen plenty of the Rams this season. It can look so good when Matthew Stafford has time. But even, they played in Dallas a month or a month and a half ago. And when he didn't, obviously Matthew got hurt. And in addition, just didn't seem like the plays were there. How favorable of a matchup do you think that is for the Rams, giving Matthew Stafford time to find those receivers?
That's going to be the key thing. We had him in Green Bay, when Matthew had to sit out the game, and it was very, very hard, for Brett Ribbon to walk into that situation. And I think Kyren Williams was still down too. So, you're talking about two of your better players offensively that really carried him here on this 3-game win streak. So it would be very difficult. Matthew seems to be getting incrementally better each week coming back from that thumb injury. The location is a little bit better. The velocity is a little bit better. The spin's a little bit better. You can kind of see it, which means your confidence is going to be a little bit higher. And credit to Sean McVay and that offensive line and the tight ends and the running backs and the protection scheme. They have done a really good job. There's been some really, really effective blitz pickups that have kept him tall in the pocket and allowed him to throw the football. So, that will be the most important thing is not only keeping Matthew clean, but making him feel like he's comfortable there, because you're going to see a lot of different stuff. There's a couple of teams out there. Minnesota throws a lot at you. New England will throw a lot at you, which is historically that way. Baltimore has gotten very, very aggressive under Mike McDonald in what they're doing. It's a very different approach, but you see that same Ravens core value to their defense: fast, physical.